Hey, everybody, got a kind of a little bit of a different type of episode for you today. It's very short. It is today. It's 4th of July, so that's part of it. But also, many of you have probably noticed this past week I haven't been posting anything at all, and the reason for that is so many of you that have been following me for a long time know that I have this really really rare bone disease. And I've had it ever since I was born, and I can manage it, but once or twice a year, without getting into too much detail, it gets extremely painful to where I just cannot do anything. It happens once or twice a year at most. It's so far it's never lasted more than a week, although this time has lasted basically a full week. It's finally starting to loosen up a little bit today, so I'm doing a little better, and I was able to do this interview that I'm going to play for you. But I wanted to explain a little bit on why I haven't been posting as much. I'm going to be posting more, probably just starting next week, since this is finally starting to go down and starting to loosen up a little bit. But just wanted to explain that real quick for you. Hope you all have a happy 4th of July, and I hope everything's going well with you. And yeah, so here is today's interview. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to the Sharpening Report. I am your host, Josh Peck. One thing that I don't think I've mentioned on the show before is how much my family and I really love board games. At least once a week, the family gathers down to the kitchen table to play a game together, and the kids love it. It's a lot of fun. Board games are fun, but what if we could actually be learning biblical truths while playing a board game with our family? Well, that time has come, and that's actually going to be the topic of our show today with our first-time guest. Emma Clodfelder is from Castle Rock, Colorado. She is currently a student at the Bible Seminary pursuing her MA in Biblical History and Archaeology. She hopes to pursue a PhD in archaeology after she graduates. Emma has just returned from Israel 2 weeks ago by participating in the Shiloh excavations and had to experience her own reverse exodus due to the war. She loves board games, so this project is very near and dear to her heart because it combines two things that she really loves. So, without further ado, let's welcome Emma to the show. How are you doing, Emma?
I'm good. How are you? Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, same to you. I'm really happy. Big shout out to our mutual friend Shelly Neese for setting this up. I'm really happy that she reached out to do this. And yeah, it's good to meet you. Happy 4th of July. And this is a really exciting project. I think this is something that I know my family and I could really get behind, and I think a lot of people watching could as well. But before we get into that, as is tradition for all first-time guests, can you tell us a little bit about your testimony, how you came to know Jesus, and how that led to what you do today?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you said, I'm from Castle Rock, Colorado, and I always grew up going to church. I'm a pastor's kid, so, going to church, doing church ministry, children's ministry, youth ministry, everything. But it wasn't until about I was 13, 14 when really the Lord became my own. My faith was my own. I remember being at youth group, and my parents divorced when I was 10, so I was kind of going through a lot of just trying to figure out who I was, and I really encountered the Lord. And at that moment, at 13 years old, 14, I gave my life to the Lord because I was so hopeless, and it was the only thing that I had. And so from that moment on, my entire life had been dedicated to Him. I decided, Lord, if you gave your life for me, then I'm going to give my life for you. And so I graduated high school. As soon as I graduated high school, I moved to California, where I attended ministry school for 3 years. And then after COVID, I came back to Colorado, and the Lord asked me to go to university, which I didn't really want to do, but I did anyways. And that's where I found archaeology. And now I'm getting my master's degree, and so I'm able to not only see the tangible evidence of the Bible for myself, but I'm also have this new passion to share it with people who maybe have a hard time believing that the Bible is history. And so that's where I am now.
That's amazing. So let's get into the actual game itself. What first inspired you to create this board game?
So when I started university, I was a theology major with a minor in archaeology. And at Colorado Christian University, all of the theology students have to take a biblical language. And so I was in a Hebrew class with a bunch of my friends, and I was really struggling because Hebrew is very difficult. And so we were going through our flashcards for class, and there were three of us at the time, or four of us. And we were like, this kind of looks like a board game. And we were like, that would be so fun. We should make a board game for to learn Hebrew. So we kind of developed this project and we gave it to our professor as a gift, and he loved it. And so all of our professors learned about it, and they really encouraged us to kind of take it a little bit farther. And so we're almost 3 years later, and that's where we are now.
That's really cool. I know there's a lot of people that's gonna love this. Like my wife especially. She has Jewish background and everything, and she's always trying to teach the kids stuff. So I mean, this sounds like a really fun and tool to be able to do that and have the kids like have fun learning as well. So what is the game called? What's it about? And how do you play?
So this game is called Shemo Escape from Egypt. And so you travel through the wilderness. So you're starting in Egypt, you're going to wander for 40 years and eventually end up in the promised land. So you can play as one of the 12 tribes and you pick your character. And as you play, you're going to acquire resources, so similar to Settlers of Catan.
Hmm.
And then you're going to have to stop and go through all of the conflicts that the Israelites had to go through. So drinking water from the rock, creating a golden calf. And as you play, you're going to draw mana every single day because you have to be able to eat. And you can trade your gold in for sacrificial animals. And so as you play, you are going to draw cards for your, and when we first designed this game, it was Hebrew cards. We kind of wanted to expand this game to people who didn't want to just learn Hebrew. And so we have really awesome trivia cards. Some are super difficult, some are super easy. You answer a card, you collect your resources, and as you play, you're gonna start to acquire cards that say, hey, you coveted your sister's cow, earn a sin token. And a sin token is actually negative points, but there's hope. You can atone for your sin. So you go to the tabernacle and you're going to take your animal and you're going to physically sacrifice it. You're going to rip it in half and leave one half in the altar, and then you'll take the other half. And that'll atone for your sin as you play. But what you'll soon realize is you're going to sin a lot faster than you're capable of atoning for. And so this whole journey, you're going to learn why Jesus had to come down in the first place, why Jesus had to be our ultimate sacrifice, because it's really difficult to atone for our sins. And the whole point was kind of to teach people, teach kids, why Jesus had to come down and why did he have to die in the first place? What is the sacrificial system? Why does it matter to us now when we're reading the New Testament? Why does it matter? Like, why focus on the Exodus? And this is kind of to bridge the gap so we have a deeper understanding.
That is so cool. Yeah, my family and I, we love trivia games. We love Catan. That's one of our favorites. And so it sounds like this is similar to those. But what makes your game different from anything else out there?
I think it's the biblical sacrifices. I mean, you will have physical pieces that you will rip in half, and that is so fun. It's so weird. You go around and you can collect goats and doves and cows, and it's really fun. There's a lot of kind of niche Bible jokes in there, so there's a lot of fun things that if you're a Bible reader, you'll read it and go, "Oh, that's funny." So yeah.
That's really cool. Who's the like the target audience? Who is this game perfect for, in your opinion?
This game is perfect for anyone, honestly, especially, for younger kids. Even if they don't know the answers to the Bible questions, we purposely put on the bottom the reference, the scripture reference. And so even if you have young kids who are learning how to read the Bible, have them open up a Bible and just try to find the answer by searching the scriptures. And then it can go all the way up to seminary students. I mean, the best part is these cards were designed you can pull them out and trade them in for anything you're studying. So if I'm a seminary student now and I'm studying Theology 501, I can create flashcards and put them in, and that's how I play the game. That's how I can start creating resources. And so it's great for Bible studies, for homeschool kids. And eventually we hope to make a New Testament version and kind of expand in the biblical world. So we'll see what happens.
Man, that's great because we homeschool our kids as well, and a lot of times it's like, all right, you got to do your schoolwork, and then you can play after. It'd be really cool to have a resource like this that can incorporate both things, and then they're having a lot of fun while they're learning. So you mentioned,
Absolutely.
yeah. So you mentioned that this game can double as a study tool. So how can players use the cards to prep for things like school tests or Bible studies? You might have just answered that, but if you have anything else to add to
Yeah,
that.
no, that's kind of how it works. We really wanted this to be functional and to be playable over and over and over again. And I've seen a lot of Christian Bible games, and they kind of suck. They're
Yeah.
boring and they're lame. And so we really wanted to make a really high quality product that people who are young and don't necessarily care about board games could play, but also that board game community who they've played awesome games and they want to incorporate it, that then they can trade things out and make it a new play every time.
That is so cool. Did you have a chance to test this game with like friends or strangers, and what was the feedback like if so?
Yeah, so we had we made this game 2 years ago, and so it started off sort of wishy-washy, trying to figure out how to make the resources not too powerful and characters not too powerful. So we ended up having a test play at our university where for 4 hours we had students come in and play it, and we got their feedback. I think the thing we learned the most is we know how to play the game because we created it, but it's learning how to write instructions that can be understood by somebody who's never played before. And so we got a lot of feedback from them. They really enjoyed it. We had high school students, college students, kids with their parents came, and it was really fun.
That is so cool. Well, I'm sold on it. I know that I want one, but is this available now? Like, where can people buy it or support the game? Where are you at in that stage with it?
Yeah, so we're on Kickstarter right now. So because of our unique animal pieces, it actually is going to cost quite a bit upfront cost to get it manufactured. And so we're on Kickstarter. We have about 6 days left from today. And so if we don't make our goal, then we're not going to, it won't be manufactured at this time. And so we need 45,000 more dollars in order to get it to work. And so, yeah, there's a link on my Facebook. We have a social media page, and I can also send you a link to send out as well.
Yeah, and I'll put that link in the description below. So if you're watching this right now, check the link in the description below, and you can find it there. So, why is it important for people to buy it now and not wait?
So, I mean, again, right now, if it doesn't blow up, then we have to kind of go back. All the people who have already purchased it, the way Kickstarter works is you pledge an amount, and then if the goal is not met, the money gets refunded to you. So there's a low risk, but that means we have to start again from ground zero. And so we're really close. We have a lot of people who are interested. We just need people to actually go ahead and buy it. And also, if a large amount of people go ahead and go on Kickstarter, it'll skyrocket to trending. So then people who are just on Kickstarter, they can see it for themselves and hopefully pledge and help back the project.
And if they want through Kickstarter, I'm not too familiar with it. I've only used it a couple of times, but through Kickstarter, if they wanted to like donate more than the cost of the game to just try to help you out, are they able to do that, or is there a separate place where they'd have to do that?
Yeah, well, we have several tiers. So tier one, you can just buy the game. So if you want to just buy the game, that's great. You can do that. Tier two, we have the game as well as some trading cards we're going to make. So we're going to have all the characters, and then you can kind of try to collect them all. Tier three, we're going to have the game as well as a 3D printed altar to actually put your animal sacrifices in, which is super fun. And then tier four is actually a discount. So you can buy 5 games at a discounted price. And so I recommend if you have a church or a lot of kids that you know how to homeschool, then I think that's the best option.
That's so cool. What do you hope people feel after they play this game?
Honestly, I really hope people have fun. That's like a lame answer, but that's the truth. But I also want people to have a really deep understanding of, oh, I understand why Jesus had to come down. I understand the sacrificial system. It's really hard to understand because we're, thousands of years away from it and I mean, I live in Texas. That's not something we study about or even talk about. And I wish at a younger age I would have understood why Jesus had to die. Because I understood he died, but I didn't know why. Why did Jesus have to die? That's such a sad story. And it is a sad story, but I think I wish I would have had a deeper understanding.
How does this game help somebody learn how to read the Bible for themselves?
I think so in our game we have a devotional at the end. So every conflict that you're going to go through, we had our professor write a devotional corresponding to the New Testament, why this Old Testament story matters. How does Jesus tie into the golden calf? How does Jesus tie into making the Ten Commandments? And so I really hope that this helps people pull from the Old Testament into the New Testament, into their life 2,000 years separated from the New Testament. It really will bring context and show a good biblical exegesis as well.
That's awesome. So in that way, could this be used as a person's like personal devotional tool or even part of a curriculum?
It could absolutely be used as a curriculum. I mean, and a study tool. You and a best friend go ahead and start playing, and you can just really dive into these stories and why they matter and why we should study them. I think a curriculum for homeschool or even a public school would be great. Or a Sunday morning, have your kids come and your teenagers go do it as a family and study the Bible together and learn how to read the Bible and learn why it matters.
That's so cool. Well, that's all the questions that I have for you about the game, but I want to give you the final word. What do you want most for people to take away from this conversation and what you're trying to do through this, what sounds like an amazing ministry tool?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this journey has been really eye-opening, learning how to open a business, how to create a product. But God's hand has really been in it. When we first created the game, we made 6 prototypes, and I was kind of walking around town looking for a 3D print shop to make our 3D printed animals, and got quoted thousands of dollars to make these. And I mean, I only needed 6 copies. I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars on plastic cows. I'm just not. And I eventually ended up calling a guy, and he invited me down to a shop. I got to show him the project we're working on. And at the time, I don't know where his faith was at, but he told me, I really feel like God is on this project, and so I want to do this for free. I want to give you all of these animals, which was crazy. I mean, it took weeks to print, and it was a decent amount of material that we used. But this stranger we met on the side of Colorado, he really wants to see this work, and so. It's more than just kids. It's a bigger project than I thought it would ever be. And so I do feel like God is in it. And so I know the deadline is soon, but I don't know. I have faith that I think God can do it whenever he wants. Like he can do it in a minute if he wanted to. So
Amen. I totally agree. And this has been great. I know this is one of our kind of shorter episodes, but it is 4th of July, and sometimes quick, right to the point stuff like this I think is really good. And I'm hoping that everybody that's viewing this will share it with your friends, tell your friends about this. I mean, this is like a really cool thing that doesn't come around all that often. So this is something I think we can all get behind and help support. Thank you so much for being on the show, Emma. Please keep us updated on the game, and we'll absolutely be praying for its success.
yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Have a good fourth.
Yeah, absolutely. You too. Now, I highly encourage everybody watching right now to check out this game and support what Emma is doing. The link is in the description below. Share it, even if you're not going to get one for yourself. Share it with your friends. Pray about it. Share it with anybody they can think of. So let's see if we can get this some legs and get this off the ground. It's only a few days, but like Emma said, nothing is impossible for God, and it can absolutely happen. So thank you all so much for joining us on another episode of the Sharpening Report. And until next time, love you all. Take care and God bless.